Hi, and welcome to On the Sofa with Rouge. And today we've got a very special guest. This lady is in London, but she's Gibraltarian. And I've probably known her since she was a very little girl, but she went off to study and now she lives in England with her family. Welcome to Ana Garcia Garnett. It's really nice to see you,
Hello.
Ana. Thank you
Good to
very
see
much for
you.
joining me. You're a filmmaker, which is so exciting, a writer, a yoga teacher, and you run yoga and writing workshops for London literary agencies and yoga studios. And you're from Gibraltar. And I love that your Gibraltar is very much at the heart of your work. Maybe not so much with the yoga, but definitely with your books and your filmmaking. And I know you've directed and written.
I've got it here. No, that's my first novel, Blanca,
No, it's so exciting, Blanca.
set in Gibraltar.
And it's set
Exciting.
in Gibraltar. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about it.
So Blanca, I can read an extract for you at some stage if you'd like. Blanca is a female godfather story, so it's about revenge and betrayal.
Wow.
It's set across the period during the period of frontier closure. So it's a dual timeline story. So the betrayal, the drama happens during the closed frontier years, and then the story is Blanca, the protagonist, coming back to Gibraltar after being away for 16 years, and she goes back to unravel what happened to somebody that she loved.
Wow. So what inspired the story?
Well, my film was centered around the frontier closure and how the frontier closure established the Gibraltarian identity. It made the people much stronger and more united. And that was a really positive story and very inspiring. But there are a lot of other parts of Gibraltar history that I kind of left out. And the more uncomfortable truths, actually, like the things you don't tend to talk about so much. My film was very positive, and that's what I wanted to do at the time. I wanted to tell people the story of Gibraltar. The novel is a little bit darker. It's a crime kind of psychological thriller. So it kind of gave me a bit more freedom because it's fiction. It's fiction. I didn't have to worry so much about protecting people. And I can
You
say,
let your creative flow carry on.
yeah, it was kind of all the stuff that I wasn't allowed to say in the film, basically, is in the book.
Can you get away with it more in a book?
Yeah. Okay. And there's no, it's all fictional. There's no there are no real I'll say there are no real people in the book. Maybe there are, but on the surface, it's a piece of fiction. I mean, fiction is true. When people talk about fiction, we say none of it happened and all of it is real. That's the thing about fiction. The messages are true, the experiences are true, although the storyline may be different, may be fictional, but the characters feel very real when the more true it is, the better the story and the more people connect to it.
So the book's been published already?
It hasn't been published. I've written 2 novels. The Gibraltar one was my first, and it's a long story. How much detail do you want? It got me a lot of attention. So breaking into the literary world is pretty tough. Anyone who's written anything will be able to tell you that. So there were a lot of hurdles that I had to break through, jump over to get this book into the right hands. And then I got a lot of incredible feedback. So I had wonderful letters of praise from huge publishing houses. Faber in particular, were very complimentary, and that was really exciting. Had all these amazing reviews, and I was thinking, great, where do I sign? Let's go. But then there was a bit of they were hesitant because a novel by a new writer set in Gibraltar was a harder sell if I'm going for the mainstream and they wanted a big kind of, with debut novels, they want, I don't know, uh, big marketing, and they felt that Gibraltar as a location was actually a harder sell. And I had that with my film as well, actually. The film was also tough to sell and to get onto mainstream television, which it was. It was broadcast on BBC Four. But I had the same thing then. People said Gibraltar isn't going to attract a huge audience.
And
Which
does
was
it?
it's quite, yeah, it did, and
Yeah.
that's quite a snobbish attitude. But actually, my Gibraltar film was the highest rated, most viewed film that week on the BBC, so they were wrong. And it did do really well, and I hope my book will do the same. But the feedback from the publishers was, this is great.
Mm.
They said it's unputdownable. They said it was like a love story to Gibraltar. They love, everybody that read it wanted to go to Gibraltar.
Good.
Yeah. But they said, but you need to write something else first that isn't set in Gibraltar. And I was like, right, okay. So I've written another novel, which is set in Italy. Also, I mean, Gibraltar isn't an island, but this new novel is set on an island. In Gibraltar, it's a closed frontier, kind of claustrophobic environment in the book. Not that the closed frontier life wasn't a claustrophobic environment, but in the novel it is.
Mm.
And in my new novel, the island is also quite the characters are stuck then, they can't get off the island. So they're similar in tone. And the idea is that
Yeah.
I publish the second one first, and the Gibraltar one will be my second novel. And that happens a lot in the writing world. A lot of writers, they'll write something, and actually the first novel is published as the second. That happens quite a lot. So that's the plan.
Okay. Well, good luck. I hope it's a great success, Dave. I hope they're both a great success. Tell me something, Hannah. For listeners who don't really know you, how would you describe yourself?
I can see my kids like rolling their eyes. Oh God, how would I describe myself? I mean, I guess I have been in the past very ambitious. Breaking into the film industry was pretty tough in London, and then breaking into the literary industry, I've only seemed to do things that are really competitive and impossibly difficult to succeed in. So I guess I'm fairly ambitious, and as a writer, you have to have so much confidence, but at the same time, it's like a crippling insecurity, which I also have, which you have to have when you're working in the arts, because you have to constantly be questioning, is this rubbish? Is this good? Oh my God, it's rubbish. Oh my God, it's really good. Oh no, it's rubbish. And there's this constant kind of process.
Of course, I guess it's normal.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say I have the two things. Like I'd say I'm pretty confident, and I'm also always doubting myself.
Which is good. Maybe a bit of both keeps you balanced.
Yoga balance. Yeah.
So what feels more like home to you right now, in the sense of you've done your filmmaking, you've been a director, and now you're writing and you're doing your yoga. So you're no longer doing films.
I haven't made any films since my second son was born, and he was 10 yesterday.
Wow.
So it's a long time. Yeah. My second son, he's like an adrenaline junkie, high risk individual, like the kind of child that would undo his car seat and try and climb out the window while I was driving, jumping off buildings. He's that kind of kid.
Yeah.
And he's asthmatic. So I seemed to spend a lot of time when he was younger going in and out of hospital. And I didn't feel like I could leave him with anyone.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to leave him with anyone. So that limited my work, obviously, as you can imagine. And because I wasn't making films, that's when I started going into writing. Because I thought I could keep a hand in, at least if I was writing. And then more recently, I started teaching yoga, and my yoga class is full of filmmakers. Weirdly, I seem to attract filmmakers, and suddenly my yoga class, and not just struggling filmmakers, incredibly successful Hollywood filmmakers, So I seem to be getting pulled back in. So now I'm just starting tentatively working on a film script, and I might be making an art film quite soon. So it's kind of
Wow.
coming back.
So
But I haven't
yeah,
really left.
it's been coincidental that you started doing your yoga classes and filmmakers just started
I know, it's
joining.
funny.
This one of those things.
Yeah, it was funny because getting into the film industry is so tough. It's so competitive, and I would have bitten off my arm to have a meeting with somebody who's now a regular at my classes and has become a good friend of mine. I remember sitting in a cafe in Soho about 12, 15 years ago with a friend of mine, and we were both trying to push our films at the time. And he was saying, how can we get a meeting with this guy? How do you know anyone who knows him? How could we get into a room with this guy to pitch this or the other? And when I finally stopped making films and I was focusing on the kids, I thought, well, like it was such a fight, it was such an uphill battle, that world. And suddenly it turned around, it came to me.
Amazing. It was meant
Yeah,
to be.
funny. Yeah, it's funny
So
how
how did you get
religion.
into writing? I mean, I guess you were writing scripts for films, so that kind of
Yeah,
pushed you to.
yeah. So in the film world, I was constantly writing. That's a big part of my degree as well. I special every time there was had to specialize in something, it was always writing for me. And to be honest, I mean, that's the insecurity part, I guess. I didn't think I was good enough to be a writer when I went into the film industry. It's a kind of a cheat. I thought in the film industry, at least, it's so collaborative and you're working with so many different people. So there's more energy carrying you. When you write, you're by yourself and there's no excuses, nobody else to blame
Yeah.
when things go wrong. And I was a bit intimidated by that. So I did film first, but there was a lot of writing, and that's my kind of natural tendency is towards that, and I ended up doing a lot of the writing. And then when I had my son, I thought, well, if I'm not going to be working, if I'm not going to be filmmaking, I might as well start the writing. This is the time now to make
Mm.
that jump. And my husband really wanted me to be around with the kids. It was easier for him if I was at home. Made life a lot easier because before that we were both traveling with my first son. That was quite tough. So he said, whatever you want to do, I'll support you if you can stay and look after this liability child that we have. So so I did this 6-month writing a novel course at Faber, um, which is kind of like the Fame Academy of the writing world. It's got a bit of a reputation. I had this incredible writing tutor. It was something that you had to get into, you had to qualify for. So that was a boost just to be accepted, and that started that kind of. I did that nearly 10 years ago actually, and that kicked off the whole thing.
Amazing. And what do you enjoy the most? I mean, what gives you the most creativity?
Most joy. I love all of it. I mean, I think there's lots of different facets to the creative spirit, the creative energy. Um, I love writing. I love the craft of writing. I love the process. It's probably my happiest place is probably writing, I guess, if I had to choose.
Mm.
It's intuitive, but it's also quite geeky, when you start looking at pace and rhythm and structure. I love all of that stuff. It is a bit lonely, can be a bit lonely. But I miss the filmmaking. I miss that collaborative energy. I miss the travel.
Mm.
Uh, you will have this in your podcast. Like when you meet people and you ask them about themselves, doors open. Like everyone wants to talk about what they love and what they do. And when I was making documentaries, I used to meet the most incredible people and I saw the most amazing things. You'd say, I'm making a documentary for the BBC. Can I come? Yes, 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 come, come. And I saw the most incredible things I've ever seen when I was making films. And I do miss that. Um,
Well, you can
but
still, you never know where life's going to take you.
yeah, you never know. But I'm a mum now, so I
So,
mean, I used to do all kinds of crazy stuff that I wouldn't recommend anyone do when I was younger. I wasn't scared. Now can't do stupid things.
I was going to ask you, how has being a mum shaped you or changed you?
Oof. Gosh. It, it's been really good from a creative process perspective, because I think what motherhood teaches you is selflessness. Um, you don't have time to think about yourself when you've got kids, and that's a problem actually for a lot of women. We don't think of ourselves enough, but it does teach you selflessness. And when I was making films, when I started making films, I was obsessed with making films. And you kind of have to be. You have to be so driven and so determined to break into it. And when you're on a shoot, you have to be obsessed with it. But I never really I didn't think so much about the audience actually when I started. I mostly thought about what I wanted and what I was interested in. I wasn't really thinking about how it might be received. Whereas now, when I write and now I'm talking about people about films again, I I have a much keener sensitivity to what is needed and how might someone respond to this? And actually, you know what, if I open with this scene, that's gonna really put people off, or like I'm thinking a bit more about how things are received. And again, there's a balance there. You can't think too much about how things are received because you have to be true to your story, but you do have to think a little bit about other people. And I do that a lot more since becoming a mom.
And are you still just as ambitious as you were all those years ago?
Uh, I guess so. I mean, I guess so. I said to my
Yeah.
husband the other day, he said, what would you do differently if we did it all again? Uh, and there are so many winding roads, you don't arrive at certain places or ideas if you don't go through certain mistakes. Um, and I said, I wish I'd had more confidence to start sooner, actually. I might have started writing sooner. I might have gone for the novel earlier. And he laughed. He laughed. He was like,
Yeah, because you're enjoying
you're
it.
already so confident. Yeah.
Is there part of your character in some of the books that you've written in, I
Yeah,
think?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm very afraid. Not afraid, yeah. I'm quite afraid of death, I'd say. That's quite a normal thing. I think a lot of people are scared of death. So my novels really lean into that. There's a lot about, there's a lot about regrets and mistakes. And the first novel, Blanca, there is a death at the center of that. Death can't be undone, and it's all about how can she reconcile with such a betrayal, and that kind of fascinates me. So that's very very strong in the first novel, and the second novel as well. When we write, we often ask, what's the question of the book? What's the question of the story? What are people going to learn from this? How is it going to change the way someone thinks? And the question of my second novel is very much about regrets and death. And that ties into the psychological thriller aspect of how I work. But it's the question of the second novel is, can you ever forgive yourself for mistakes that you've made? And those are things that I think about. So yeah, that my preoccupations are very present in my novels for sure. I wouldn't say they're not about me, but they can't
Influence.
Obviously there are aspects of yourself,
Aspects.
and the truer you are to yourself as a writer, the more of yourself, whether you like it or not,
Comes through, of course.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah.
How do you balance your filmmaking, your writing, your yoga? Is there a connection between the three of them that kind of...
Yeah, huge, which is why I do yoga and write. That's why I'm doing yoga and writing. Now I teach yoga and writing together. Yeah, there's a huge connection. So I like to say writing is thinking. So when people write, and also when people read, when someone comes to write and somebody has an idea and it's like a niggle. So it's something that you have to do. It's not something that you particularly maybe want to do. It's just that there's something that you feel like you have to unravel. And therein starts the process. People start to write because there's something that they haven't understood, or they want to figure it out, or there's something they feel that they have to express. And they don't really know what it is when they start. It's kind of like a journey. And that can be likened to getting on in a boat. Like when you start to write, it's like you get into a boat and you set off to sea, and you don't exactly know where you're going, and you go off into the ocean. And at some point during the process, you see land at the other side and you see where you're going. That's a bit like the writing process. And when you come to read, it's the same. What draws people to read is they think, oh, that looks interesting. That connects with you on some level. Maybe there's something that I want to know, or I haven't understood, or I'm interested in. There's that kind of search for meaning when you read. And yoga is the same. People come to the yoga mat or to the yoga practice because they're looking for something deeper. They're looking for meaning. They're looking for truth. So I'd say that the instigator is the same with all three, and in any art form. Like, why do you go into an art gallery and look at paintings? Why do you listen to music? It's often a need, a desire for some kind of connection and understanding and truth.
Joy.
Yeah. So it's all the same, the arts, it's all the same.
So as a teacher, as a yoga teacher, and do you, as a you teach writing as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
So what makes you maybe different to anybody else? What do you think you bring that maybe somebody else doesn't?
My yoga life is really has informed my writing practice. I think I teach meditation as well, and meditation is a waking up. So it's a waking up to your own thinking. It's like a collection of attention, you say. So people think that when they meditate, they have to sit down and then their thoughts empty and their mind empties. And that's not, your mind never empties. That would be useless. Like if your mind emptied, if you sat down to meditate and then your mind was blank for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you haven't learned anything, you haven't gained anything. You may as well have taken some drugs and passed out on the floor. So that is not meditation. Yeah. So meditation can be quite uncomfortable. What happens is you just become aware of what thoughts are happening in your head. So that's why people say, come back to the breath, because you sit down, you focus on your breath, and then your brain goes, oh, the shopping, the laundry, or the Saturday night plans or whatever. And then you think, oh, I'm supposed to be focusing on my breath. And you come back to your breath. And then again, the mind goes, then you come back. Every time you notice that your mind has gone, your thoughts have gone, that's like a waking up inside your own thought. Oh, and you realize that you were thinking about the laundry or the cooking or the party, whatever it is. So it's a waking up. And writing is also a waking up, because you are becoming aware of this story or these characters. You start to ask quite difficult questions. And that is a difference between the story that stays with you and the story that doesn't. But it's also the difference between plot and story. That's a real writing kind of debate, which I don't need to go into that. But that's the difference. As a writing teacher, I come to writing with a yogic kind of approach and understanding of, I suppose, how that process works.
And you were saying, you touched on before that you had some kind of well-known people in your classes. Can you tell us any stories of any famous people? I suppose maybe you can't mention who they are, but just is it really like jaw-dropping when
really
they kind of walk?
That was so funny. That was like the highlight of my yoga career. I'm not supposed to, you're not supposed to say as a teacher, no favorite. And yoga is yoga, whether you're teaching a 5-year-old kid class in a school or a supersonic A-lister Hollywood movie star, which is what I taught. I can't say, I don't think I'm allowed to say his name, but I can say that he's a superhero. and
Wow.
very attractive. And that was a good practice.
How,
Not being affected.
and what
Not being affected.
you just walked into your class, like just like that?
No, no, I was asked, I was approached to teach
Ah,
him because he had to do some yoga. I be careful what I say. Anyway, I had to teach.
okay, okay.
I was approached. I was asked to teach this star, and it was really fun. It was really he was great. He was really
Really?
nice.
He was quite relaxed and I
Yeah,
mean not stuck up.
no, he was very funny because I said, firstly, I had to go to the studios and I was quite nervous. And I was thinking of it as a yoga practice, you shouldn't be attached to the outcome and you shouldn't be if, it doesn't matter who you're teaching, it's just yoga and all the rest of it. Um, so I was saying it as a practice, but then when I got to the studios, they had a whole floor or was like all the doors were papered off. Everything was the whole floor was closed off just for this one class. I was like, oh my God. Okay.
Wow.
And then I went up. There was a lot of phone calls and what time and you're here and where are you and on my journey into the studio. And then I got to the studio and I had a call from one of the assistants saying he's at the hotel. And then I had another call. He's just got into the car. And then I had
Oh my
and
gosh.
arriving and thing. And I had that he's coming up the elevator. By the time he was like coming up the elevator, I was like, oh my God, oh my God.
Nervous. How did you do the class with all that pressure?
Yeah, it was really well. The second he walked in, and it's the same with anything, I suppose. It's like anything, like a race, you get so nervous
Yeah.
before the race. As soon as you start, you're fine. Then you're just doing what you do and what you know. And he was very funny because at the end I said, "Oh, I was very nervous." He was really happy. It went really well. It was like 2 hours of yoga, and he was
Wow.
happy at the end. And he said that was great. And then we had breakfast. They brought
Oh
us
my
breakfast.
God,
Yeah,
really?
it was really nice.
So you've got his number now, have you?
Yeah,
Have you?
everything. But it was very funny because at the end I said to him, I'm glad that went well. I was nervous about that. And he was like, you were nervous about me. And I was like, yeah. I thought
Amazing.
that was the most fun.
Amazing. And do you
Most,
reckon that might open doors for you? I mean, can it work like that? That these people come to your
yeah,
classes and
yeah, it could do. I mean, as a yoga practitioner, we say like it doesn't really matter. I say it was a really
Mm,
fun experience, but I just said it was the most fun. I have had hilarious as fun classes with kids in schools. I teach kids in schools, and that's brilliant as well. Like I wouldn't say I aspire to be an A-list celebrity yoga teacher. I
yoga
mean, it's
teacher.
fun. It's fun. It's nice to meet these people and they
Yeah.
have such different lives
Mm,
and it's fun when you meet someone that you've seen on the big screen
mm,
in real life. Like that's all fun.
mm.
But yoga is yoga. Like
Yeah.
it's
So
yoga.
let's talk about the retreat in Almeria. So you're organizing this fabulous retreat. I had a look at the information that you sent me. Look, the place looks amazing,
Yeah,
so beautiful and very
it's a
relaxing as well. Tell us a bit about that.
yeah, it's a new yoga retreat center in Almeria. It's been set up by a company called Space in London. And it's beautiful, it's really rustic. It's close enough to the sea to go to the beach and there's hikes. And I'm running a yoga and writing retreat. So it will be practice in the morning, physical yoga practice in the morning, um, and a free writing. So free writing is I'll give you some prompts, as in I'll give you an idea of what to write, and then you just write without thinking too much. And then you've got a nice brunch and walks and hikes and all the rest of it. And then in the afternoon we'll do uh, some workshops on writing craft. So if you haven't done a lot of writing, I will guide you into things to think about and get you writing, get you putting words on the page in a bit more structured way, maybe inspired by what you wrote in the morning. And then restorative practices in the evening. So easy kind of relaxation type stuff in the evening. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Be good.
And have you done one of these before?
I've never led one before. There aren't a lot of people doing yoga and creative writing, I don't think. I've done the workshops, but I've never done a retreat. It's my first yoga and creative writing retreat. So yeah, I'm
Wow.
excited.
And when is it, Anna? When is it taking place?
It's the 6th of June, 6th to the 11th of June.
And are you trying to
Um,
get more Gibraltarians? Are you trying to get more
yes,
people to
yeah,
join and
yeah, I'd
bring
love
in
to have
the
some.
whole, because it's quite
Yeah,
relatively near.
yeah, exactly. It's not too far. You don't have to get a plane, like do it in the car. And I would love to connect to the Gibraltar community of writers and yogis again. It's been a while. So yeah, I thought it might be an opportunity to connect with
Yeah.
some people. And I do have a discount code for people in Gib. So
Okay.
it's retreat, capital R, retreat 100, the number 100 exclamation mark. So retreat 100 exclamation mark will give you
Okay.
£100 off.
Wow.
Um, and if you really want to come and you're a new writer and you need a bit more help, then contact me and I will see if I
Okay.
can help you out.
What are you trying to um teach at the at this retreat? I mean, what are writers and going to get from it?
It's a what do you call it? It's like a springboard. So
Mm,
it's a plugging in. So
okay.
there's the stuff you always get from a retreat, which is a bit of space and time and rest. There's that, and anyone that does that benefits from a holiday. There are
Yeah.
benefits of a holiday of stopping and stepping out of your routine. From the yogi and writing perspective, what we're going for is like a burst of energy to really give you a good start to help you to begin your writing journey. So if you haven't started yet and you don't know how to start and you're new to writing, this is a really good place to start because I'll give you a lot of support. Um, if you are already writing, but you just want a little bit of inspiration, I'm hoping to just to light everybody up, to fill you with ideas and inspiration, just get you going, like get the engine
Mm.
going, and get you in that rhythm of writing.
Creativity.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
Let it
plugging
all.
in. Yeah, when you and also when you're with like-minded people in a beautiful place that can give you a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And when you see that everybody struggles with the same things that you're struggling with, that can be quite encouraging as well. Because writing is can be very lonely. And a lot of people think they'd like to write and they have an idea and then they sit down and it's a blank page. Or they start and they hit a wall like, oh, this is rubbish. I can't do this. This is embarrassing. No one's ever going to read it. And they stop. But you come to something like this and you've got me pushing you forward. You can do it. You can do it. We can do it. And I'll show you how we all have to write uh, shit, if I'm allowed to say shit on your
Yes. You're
podcast.
allowed to say it.
uh,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to write shit
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
write good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And
And
I,
it's the same with anything, like, playing the piano or singing
mm,
or anything. You have to be rubbish before you're good.
yeah. Tell me something. What's the biggest lesson your creative journey has taught you?
Oof, that's a big question. You're coming at hitting me with a big one, Michelle. Wow. What is the biggest lesson of
Yeah. Or
creative
some.
practices? I'd say probably listening. Listening.
Mm,
I yeah, it's not as natural. I can imagine again my sons laughing their heads off when I say listening. It's not an if you and maybe is this a Gibraltarian thing? I don't know, coming from Gib, where there's so much energy and people like to talk. Listening might not be the obvious
yeah.
thing to do, but actually listening to your um, the voices. Not that I'm hearing lots of voices in my head, but when you are tapping into a creative kind of energy, there is a lot of listening. And I do a lot of exercises myself when I'm writing, where I'm having conversations with my characters or I'm typing. I'll ask them a question and they answer. That can be very interesting.
Okay.
Um, listening to yourself. In yoga, there is a lot of listening in and listening to your body. You know, the body is very wise. Uh, what do I mean when I say the body's very wise? Instinct is keen. Instinct is natural, and it's the same with writing. Your natural inclination is usually right, and no one can tell the story that you have to tell. No one can do it. We all have different experiences and things to share. So yeah, listening.
Okay.
She says, having not listened to anything you said, just blabbering. Well, yeah, listening. Blah, 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 blah.
So we've got a couple of minutes left. Just tell me something. What's next for you, Anna? What apart from your retreat, what do you want to do next?
I'm really excited about this novel that I've just finished because that is hopefully that is the beginning of a new cycle for me. So a new thing for me. I hope I have my agent and I have my editor. I have the whole setup now. It's taken me years to get to this point, and none of my work has. Oh, actually, I have a short story that's about to be published, but my work hasn't been published. I mean, working on this like body of literature novels for a while, and I'm at the cusp now of it.
So exciting, really excited because I've followed you really from way back. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what your books and
I have worked really hard, and it is really hard, and it is tough when you have kids, when you have young children.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Tough. And I have really worked hard, so I feel like I deserve it now.
You do.
I worked hard. I've got this point. Yeah, so I'm excited about the novels finally getting out, and this film script that I've just started working is quite exciting, and maybe moving back into film. That's exciting.
Good. Well, thank you. Honestly, it's been such a joy to chat to you and to hear about your crazy but wonderful life and creative life that you've created for yourself with your family and your yoga and your writing. And yes, we'll put all the details down on there when we post the podcast. We'll put the details down of how people can get in touch with you, and I guess your books, we'll be able to buy them on Amazon or.
Yeah, I mean, I hope when they're out, then I will be contacting the Gibraltar Literary Festival, and I'll be coming out.
Yeah,
I'd love to. I mean, any excuse really for me. I'm kind of, I wouldn't say stuck in London. I love London, but I am tied to London because my kids are here. But I'd love any excuse to come to Gib and do some stuff with some local writers and yogis. Connect.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Anna. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you.
Thank you, Michelle.